In fact, a couple of days back, Israel demolished Al-Bustan Charity Association, which is a cultural, sports, and educational association that serves the Al-Quds students and students from Al-Salwan region. It is located near the Al-Aqsa Mosque as well. Israel claims that these buildings in the Silwan district are not licensed. And this association was established back in 2004, and it has been receiving a lot of aid from the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs and by a lot of other French organizations that are 20 plus. This association once more presents cultural, educational, and sports services for Palestinian students. In fact, Israel does not grant construction licenses in a lot of areas in Palestine, specifically in Al-Quds, and it imposes very high fines and penalties on the Palestinians in order to prevent them from constructing any new establishments. And then, after the flood of Al-Aqsa or the 7th of October incidents, we found that, Israel has been demolishing a lot of Palestinian buildings in Al-Quds and in a lot of areas around of it. What is happening in Al-Sulwan is clear apartheid. And in fact, Israel has taken over a lot of buildings, and around more than 80% or more than 80 housing blocks right now are being taken over by Israeli settlers because they consider the Silwan district, the city of Prophet David. And so these settlers, they have faith-based or creed aspirations, and for that matter, the Israeli authority tries to displace these Jewish settlers into this area that they consider epicenter or the cradle of the Prophet David.
Mm-hmm. How do demolition and displacement policies impact the demographic, cultural character of Jerusalem?
In fact, Al-Quds or Jerusalem has been in fact suffering from a movement of Judaism, or giving a Judaic imbuement to these areas in a lot of districts in Jerusalem. Once more, the Israelis impose a lot of fines on the Palestinians, and that leads a lot of Jerusalem nationals to exit and get displaced from Al-Quds or Jerusalem in order to live outside of it and on its suburbs. They do that in order to be able to construct some housing buildings for themselves. And in fact, the families that are living in Jerusalem right now, they are just families, small families, and this does not give any area for demographic expansion to take place, Palestinian demographic expansion to take place in Jerusalem. We now have around 500,000 Israeli settlers living in Al-Quds or Jerusalem, and right now there are entire cities and districts inside of Al-Quds or Jerusalem that are completely populated by Jews, and these areas together are named the Greater Jerusalem. or Greater Al-Quds. And for that matter, once more, a lot of Jerusalem nationals are actually being displaced outside of Al-Quds or Jerusalem, and we can project that the number of Jews residing in Jerusalem are going to be much higher than the Palestinians residing there.
Now, does the shortage of food and fuel aid in Qnews signal a bigger crisis in Gaza's humanitarian situation, and how do you assess the international community's response so far to such crisis?
It's not just in Qnews, you know, Deir al-Bala, Saraj as well. These southern cities are facing the same issue. They are scarce on food. And if we get into other regions like the north of Jabalia, Zaytun, Beit Laya, Beit Hanun, what is happening there is a downright starvation in the fullest sense of the word. And the Palestinian nationals are being expelled out of these areas in order for them to resort to other southern regions. And what's happening is an unprecedented apartheid, in fact. And this is actually the second Nakba, as we call it, because, you know, the food products don't reach the Palestinians for a number of reasons. Like, for instance, the exiting of the Rafah corridor, and Israel keeps on speaking about the opening of northern corridors.
Yes,
but in fact, this
we
is
do
not
understand.
at all true. The humanitarian aid didn't exceed 100 trucks on a daily basis.